and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa and today we're doing another update from our project Pan and Everything, or the Pie Project Pan. This project was started by Jessica Lee and the premise is, as the name suggests, to hit pan in everything. I'm currently working on my eyeshadow palettes, but I might incorporate some brushes or bronzers or stuff like that later on. But for now, we're sticking to eyeshadow. That's everything I need to say, so let's get started with what's the oldest in this project so far. So I think it was 2 updates ago now that I rolled in the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox Shadow So Fine. Previously I had 8 uses on it. I used it an additional 8 times for a total of 16 uses, and hopefully you can see I did hit pan in there, so that's 1 done. The second oldest shade came from the Marc Jacobs Fantasine palette in the shade Fantasy. Previously, I only had 2 uses on it. I've used it an additional 27 times, and this is where we are. This is the shade. Now, technically, this one's not a pan. I did mention this in my Pan That Palette update that I repressed some of this pink shade with Georgia from the Sweet Peach palette into this pan. So technically, this isn't going to be rolling out. It's just been transferred into this pan because it is unbelievably hard pressed, and I think the first 10, so technically 12 with the 2 uses from last time, those uses were all as eyeshadows, and I would throw this in my crease on my lid as a base and then top whatever, like some type of pink shimmer on top, and there was barely even brush strokes. So that's why hopefully you can see, I've scraped off about half the pan, and then I took a decent amount of pan like shadow so that I could make the Franken. So yeah, so this one's staying in, but there's pan in it. Next, I have the Kara Beauty Flower Powers palette. I rolled in the shade Daisies last update. I used it 8 times. Here we are, a nice little pan right there. So I did hit pan on the 8th use. I think I actually hit pan on the 6th use, but this is kind of like it's malleable, but it's also not malleable. Like, I feel like I kept covering the pan, but then like if I stuck a pin in it, it was like I wasn't even close to the pan. It's a very weird thing. So I don't know if it was just like the reflection, you know, when you get like one little glitter and you're like, oh, pan, and then it's not pan. That's how I felt about this shadow, but it was pretty nice. I loved it as an inner corner shade. It was really nice and bright and pretty, so I hope to do that again once I am back to using this palette, but for now, she's also rolling out. So far, so good. And the next palette that's rolling out is the Juvia's Place The Warrior palette. I rolled the shade Amina, used it 13 times this update, and here we go, just a tiny little baby pan right in the center. This is a beautiful shade, a nice palette. I found for this one, it was pretty dusty for me. Like, it was super nice and soft. If I picked it up with my finger, not a problem. But I personally prefer to use a brush when I do my makeup, mostly just because I don't like the texture of shadow on my hand. So, or like getting under my nails, you know, it just creeps me out. So this one's gonna be rolling out today as well. And the last 2, which are not rolling out, spoiler, they were kind of the, I was gonna say ugly duckling and then neglected stepchild, but then in my brain it was neglected stepduck, so broken. Anyways, these ones I kind of put on the back burner, mostly because I won't be rolling anything in today, unfortunately, because I'm still not at home. I will be next month, so I might just keep using these palettes and just choose another shade. Like, not actually choose another shade, but just if I use another shade from there and I hit pan, I'll let you know next update. And then next update will be much more interesting because we'll be rolling in a whole whack of shades. But because I'm not home, and I am heading home in about a week and a half, I don't want to, you know, I'm filming this right now. It's going up today, and then I'm going to have to drive everything home, pick up new palette. It just didn't make sense. So hope you don't mind. But anyways, so back to the 2 neglected shades. I have the ColourPop Wild Child palette. I what's the word I'm looking for? Rolled in the shade Icon. It's just this one at the bottom here. I've used it 3 times. It looks like there's a bit of a disturbance, but there's really no dip at all. So yeah, like I said, this one has been on the back burner. I haven't used it on my lid because I have a very similar shade in my Pan Lab palette. So I've been using this as, the 3 times I used it as an eyeliner when I've done like a pink shadow look, like not quite like this one, but when I use my Pan Lab palette, and it's stunning. It's a really, really pretty like metallic liner. So if you have this palette, I recommend trying that out. So that's probably how I'll get the rest of the uses on this palette. So hopefully next update, this one will have pan. That would be lovely. And then last but not least, I have the ColourPop, It's a Princess thing. I rolled in the shade Prince Charming, which, sorry for blinding you, it's just right here. There is a smidge of a dip, but again, I've only used this one 3 times as well, so not much use. I was focusing on So Fine, and then a shade from my Project Level Up. So yeah, so those ones are staying in. Let me swatch these 1 second. Sorry if the lighting's weird. I feel like it's off, but I'm also looking directly into the ring light, so I'm kind of blind, so I don't know if what I'm seeing is what you're seeing. So apologies if the lighting's off. But so I've swatched out the shades. So these are the ones rolling out, which I realize now is wrong because this one's not rolling out. But so we have ColourPop, Stone Cold Fox, the shade So Fine. This is MJ Fantasy in the shade Fantasy, which is actually not rolling out because despite having pan, it's not a real pan. So this one should be on this hand. I have Kara Beauty Daisies and Juvia's Place, the Warrior shade in Amina. And then staying in for next update, we have ColourPop Wild Child in the shade Icon, and ColourPop It's a Princess Thing in the shade Prince Charming, and Fantasy. So technically that should be over there. But that's everything for today. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me today. I hope you have a great day, night, whatever time of day it is for you. Take care of yourselves. Bye.